good to have you here. Before the comments fill up with AI slop, yes, there's AI in my graphic novel process. Let me show you what that actually means, because it's not what the comments think. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what Claude does in my scripting, what I never let it do near, and why 20 years animation says the tool is never the talent. If you appreciate this type of content, gently tap on the like button. All right, let's get into it. So let me back up. Dark Angel, a Sin City inspired anti-hero journey, started life as a short story. Something I write for an animated development project. But the story just got too big, and honestly it was so much fun, so it blew out from being a short. Before I knew it, I'd written the whole thing out in long-form script in a rough draft. And then, like a lot of sort of passion projects, I shelved it. It just sat there. Not long ago, I was listening to a video by Wholesome Ted called I Tried to Write a Novel with AI, and something clicked. I thought, Dark Angel would make a cracking graphic novel. One problem, I haven't written a graphic novel. What I had was a long form script and a clear picture in my head for how it was going to work. So I thought, let's just experiment and let's see what happens when I put Claude and my version of the script in the same room. All right, first thing I learned, and it wasn't really a surprise. Claude is really good at following instructions. Genuinely really good. But there's a catch. It's the whole point. You can't just throw in a loose idea and watch gold fall out. That's not how it works. And anyone telling you that it does is selling you something. What it actually is a much faster typist, a faster researcher, a faster way to weigh up one option against another. The magic isn't in the asking, it's in the framing. Hand it clear references, tell it the structure you're aiming for, and it gets you there a lot quicker than going it alone. And my favourite part, throw it an idea, ask it if it will mess up the story, and it gives you an honest answer. It doesn't just nod along. Quick one before the good stuff. If you want to follow Dark Angel as it actually gets built, the wins, the dark ends, all of it, hit subscribe. And the original short, the one that kicked this whole thing off, is linked down in the description. Right, back to it. So here's how it actually works when I script a chapter. Nothing of it is magic. It's process, the same way animation's a process. First, I point it to the documents we've already built. And I mean built, structured, story arc, broken down step by step, where pieces were going to go, how pieces were going to fit. Then there's the character Bible, each character fleshed out with their idiosyncrasies, their ideologies, and their approach to the world within the storyline and the story arc. But the big thing for this story was the background research on the vehicles, because the vehicles actually have quite a huge impact in the story. So we had to flesh out what vehicle does what and why and how, and tie that into where that fits within the story. I then asked Claude to go back and look through all the information it's got and flesh out and see if there's any holes or any further information that it needs for a scene. It always comes back with, wow, there's heaps of stuff here, but I need more information, which is great because it makes you stop and think and go, does it actually fit together as a story? Because I've given it so much background knowledge to work with, it comes up really well with here's the plot points, here how it ties in. Once it's done all its clarity, I then ask it to generate a beat sheet, because a beat sheet just makes it easier to make sure it knows what direction we're going in, what beats it needs to hit. You give it feedback then, this works, this doesn't, this is how to change it. And we basically talk about it, pushes back going, man, that doesn't align with something we've got previously down chapter something, 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 or by the end of the story, it's meant to be this doesn't really work, it might fit in. And you kind of always got to massage it to go, look, shut up, I know what I'm doing. Or, hey, you know what, you've made a good choice, or you've brought up a good point, but this is how the story arc fits together in my head. And it just helps confirm that the story is going to be good. Once we've got the beat sheet right, I've got a markdown document inside the project which says, this is how I want my script written. Because I found that if I just said, right, write a script, it'd always format it differently, which was really annoying. So I said, right, let's create a document which outlines the exact proportions for what font I want, how I want things spaced, how I want my characters to talk, and where I want my page breaks, how they come up in the document. So I tell it, look at that, format a script to this thing, and it goes away and writes up what it thinks from the beat sheet which we've worked together on. Now, it types and spits stuff out a lot quicker than I can, which is fantastic. Then I get to read through it, and like I do with animation, we go round for round, and I give it feedback. Now, little cheat for me, I always found that if I typed in the chat, I'd always end up hitting enter before I'd finished my thought. Really frustrating. So I actually put my feedback off in another document and edit that document and all the bits and pieces through a script, and then actually give the document back to Claude rather than type in the chat. The whole process is then becomes just this chat back and forwards. The whole process is then kind of gone through. I get it to flag anything that I need to change in previous scripts, which I change or think comes up better if we do it this way or is needed in another way, with always a running notes document, which I keep reflecting back to help actually the whole story arc work. We go round and round like that until we've got a script that I'm genuinely happy with. Now, can you ask it to write me a chapter and take whatever falls out? Sure, it'll give you something. But if you've got a clear idea of what you're after, it's brilliant for the thing I already do every day with animation. Versioning, crafting, iterating. Same muscle, and look, this field is moving fast. About a year ago, I tried a tool called plot.ai. It gave me an output, I wasn't happy with it, and I'll be honest with you, no one's ever going to see that. That's how quickly this is changing. The thing I'd written off back then isn't the thing I'm using now. So the question everyone really came for, will it replace you? Honestly, only if you don't have any heart in what you're doing. This stuff can be pointed at almost anything, but at the end of the day, it's a tool. And a tool works better in the hands of a skilled craftsman than it does with no direction at all. It is not the talent, you are. So learn your skill, practice your craft, then go find the tools that make the craft you already do go further. That's how AI is currently fitting into the graphic novel. No pitchforks required. If you want to see where Dark Angel began, link to the shorts down in the description below. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next one. Keep animating that entertains.